Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Torres, and welcome to Conversations with the World, a show where I have conversations with everyday people.
You feel something, you feel something. It's not about personality matrixels and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich. We can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful.
I love the art of it. And so like that really to me is like, you know, it's cool. Like I just love the idea of like just immersing myself in the character and just like, you know, letting my mind go.
Do what you're supposed to do, man. Like all I can say is that whatever mountains are in front of you sounds so. I'm trying to think of a non-cliche way to say it. Is that there is a way through what you're going through.
Yeah.
And you will get through to the other side. And I'm saying, like, all I can say is, like, you can make it through it. Well, it'll seem like your brain will try and convince you that you can't, but tomorrow will come and you can.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with the World. And joining me on this wonderful episode of episode 8.
Is it 8?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've got Roxy Valle. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Valle. Yes.
Valle.
So you had it second time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I bet you get a lot of valleys.
Oh yeah,
Valles.
by, like, you know, Caucasian people. It's really great.
Yeah, I've been a little bit of whitewashed.
That's totally fine. I mean,
No,
I'm
it's
half,
not.
I'm
It is
half
not.
whitewashed, so it's totally fine.
It happens.
great.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. We live in the great United States of America.
America.
America. But it's she's my great friend. We've been friends for quite some time.
Yes, we have.
We can tell people where we've met. We met at school, right? Mount
Yes,
Sac.
Mount Sac. We were in the RTV program, in the film television program, and I don't know how it happened, but I ended up meeting you, and you're super dope, and I love you. And yeah, like we've been cool ever since.
Collaborating
friends,
here
yeah.
and there on certain projects.
And hopefully soon again.
Again, yeah. Well, actually, I helped out a little bit on your short film, Millie's, right?
Melia, yeah.
Millier. How do you,
Yeah,
I don't
Melia,
know how to
yeah.
pronounce it.
It's okay. No one knows how to pronounce it unless you're French, so it's totally fine. So Nate worked on my short film called Millier that I wrote, produced, and directed. It was a short about a kid who was a film major, and he was having writer's block, so he ends up watching a short old school film called The Trip to the Moon by George Méliès, and it inspired him to make his own silent film, and it ended up being a semifinalist at the LA Cinefest in 2016. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So
Were you able to go to like the festival and like take a glimpse at it?
No, it was like I guess it's like a online site that like they just promote these films and these filmmakers and stuff like that. So unfortunately, we didn't make it to like the finals, but we ended up being semifinalists for best short. So
Nice.
it's really, really great. I'm very proud of that, and it was awesome having all of you guys on there. So it was dope.
They had a pretty cool team. I remember there was a day, I believe we were filming like at that little park in Chino Hills
Oh yeah.
with the little turtles popping out.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
I enjoy like working on like, you know, sets, working like PA stuff, you know. It's one of my passions. Like
yeah,
obviously I've got podcasting as one of my big passions,
which
but
is amazing. Yeah.
but working on films, and that's kind of where we you know, connected when we took the RTV classes, and we always stayed like, you know, in a you had like a niche group.
Yeah.
You know, you had Zia.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't talked to her. I'm a horrible friend.
I'm sure you'll talk to her soon.
I probably will.
You know,
yeah.
I've seen it like as I was going to Mount Sac and taking the RTV classes, I kind of like stayed in touch with a little bit of the groups,
Yeah.
you know, here and there, and I can see that everyone is on their path to doing like the things that they enjoy and love.
Yeah.
And so like you started off with RTV classes, right?
Yes, I did.
You graduated actually, right?
Yes, I got my bachelor's degree in television, film, and media studies at Cal State LA last year.
There you
So,
go. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so like now you have the opportunity to, you know, like just write something, produce it yourself. You have the capability of doing it.
I do, and I feel so horrible because I've been so much on and off of set the past year. So I've been so hectic with that, and then my own personal issues that I've been dealing with. So it's been hard to keep up with my filmmaking and stuff. But I'm really proud. This year, afterwards, after school was done, honestly, I was just like, I don't know what to do anymore because like I've been in school for 9 years. Yeah. Yeah, I ended up filming. Why am I saying filming? It's weird. I ended up finishing up my first full feature that I've been working on for 5 to 6 years called Rhiannon. And now I'm in the rough cuts and edits, so I'm sending it off to some people that I trust to just like give me their tips and stuff like that. And I've been just writing some skit comedy, writing a web series based on me and my older sister that we're best friends and we're total opposites. So,
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been submitting that to different screenwriting programs. I applied for the late night writers workshop and at NBC in New York. So hopefully things go well on that. And yeah, I just want to get back onto filmmaking because as much as I've always on set lately, on commercials and stuff like that, it's always best to like work on your own sets and work with, you know, being a director and writing new things and writing new content. And I've been missing that lately. So I will hit you up when that happens.
Definitely. Flapper Girl Entertainment will need to hit up the Space Kaiju Productions to collaborate.
Yes, all the time. I mean, you know me. I only like to collaborate with people that are as passionate as I am. Because, like, I mean, everybody in LA is like, I want to be a filmmaker, but yet they don't know really about it. And I went to school with some people like that. So it's just like, you know, luckily, I think I'm very, very proud of Mount SAC for not only bringing like people like you into my life that are passionate about film and, you know, just creating amazing content, but actually teaching me and all of us the dynamics and reality of the film industry. Because if it wasn't for that, like I would not be where I am right now. So it's really cool.
Who would you say is probably like, excuse me, like your favorite professor, like that has taught you at Mount SAC?
Oh my God, no, hands down. He knows it, and like I don't know if he's still alive. I know that's horrible to say,
what?
But like, okay, he doesn't respond to my emails, so I don't know if he's alive or not.
Okay,
but like,
okay. That's fair enough to say if he's not responding to your emails.
He's not responding to my emails. So it's like, but genuinely, Professor Brad Geegley.
Yep.
He knows it, and I remind him all the time. Since the moment I went into his class, like the first thing he said was like, I want all of you guys to put fuck on the first scene of your play. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And like he was serious because like people didn't do it. And then he's like, where the hell is fuck in your script? And I'm like,
I specifically told you to write.
I specifically told you to put fuck in it. And like ever since then, like I've been in love with him. Like he's I would say he's the biggest influence in my life as far as filmmaking, and he's the reason why later on in life I want to get my master's in fine arts and become a professor because of him. Like he taught me so much, and you know I would send him my scripts and he'd be like, this is shit, and I know you're
tell you
better
the
than
truth.
this. Yeah, he'll be straight up. And you know I've visited him at his home in Palm Springs. It's really fabulous and really great. And he was even kind enough to be a part of a little documentary about me that I was doing for my coming out like 2 years ago. So he was really nice of doing that for me, and we hung out and watched movies and drank. Made me drinks. It was awesome.
Dope.
Yeah, so he's the biggest influence in my life. I love him so much, and I've been horrible at emailing him lately, but when I do, like, I never get anything back. So I'm just like, are you alive still? Because if you're not, I want to go, like, visit your tomb, wherever it is.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, he's really cool in just that he was a wonderful professor.
Yeah.
And that, like, he was pretty laid back as a professor, but, you know, at the end of the day, you got something out of that class
Oh yeah.
that you've taken.
Yeah, and he's very real with you. He'll tell you like this is a piece of shit, or he'll tell you, this has been done before, whatever. And he encourages.
I think that's the one I hear most of. That this
Yeah.
has been done before. Go do something that has never been done before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that I went to Cal State LA, and I kind of established that kind of personality. Like, it's not arrogance, and people probably thought it was arrogance, but I went over there and I was like, hey, this like people that I was were trying to make be my friends or whatever. They were trying to like get my attention or whatever. They would just be like, oh, this is my idea for a film. And I was like, okay, but that's already been done before. What's different about it? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's been done. Like, it's this movie. Like, how are you going to make it different?
Yeah.
And then they would get mad. And it was just like, no, like, I mean, if you're going to be a filmmaker, like, you don't want to be the next Michael Bay. You want to be your own person.
The next you.
Yeah, the next you. Like,
Yeah.
you need to make your own statement and your own personality. You can't just follow on.
But it's good to have influences.
Oh, yeah, no, most
You know,
definitely.
like obviously, like I want to make films like such as like Stanley Kubrick would make, or
Yeah.
such as Wes Anderson would make. You know,
Mhm.
like it's good to have influences. Obviously, not good to plagiarize or anything
Oh, no,
of that
no,
of that
no.
side. Yeah.
I mean, you can always pay homage, which is always great. I mean, my biggest influences in my life, as far as film-wise, has always been Alfred Hitchcock.
Mhm.
Just his writing style and the psychology that he puts into his characters and his stories is just fucking phenomenal.
Favorite Hitchcock film?
That's hard.
It's either between for me. It's either Rear Window or Vertigo.
Mine, it's like a tie between Birds and Psycho.
I like Birds.
Birds is amazing.
Tippy.
It's so good. And then
Yeah.
like when you hear about the backstory of like how he got the reactions, it's like, what, dude? You're crazy, but I like it.
You know that story?
Yeah, like he, the main character. Yeah, I forgot her name.
Isn't it Tippi Hedren?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like he asked her like, hey, so what's the thing you fear the most? And she's like, spiders. And he's like, okay. Just pretend that there's gonna be a spider there. If you see the movie, there's a scene where she opens a cabinet and there's like birds coming out, right? So, what people don't know is that he actually got a shit ton of spiders and put it in that cabinet so that way when she opened it, you didn't see it, but there was actual spiders in there.
I'd hate for that. Like,
yeah.
Like if there was like a grip of spider. Have you ever seen like spiders come out of like an egg?
Yeah, and I'm a horrible person. I love spiders.
Okay, I knew you would think that was cute.
Yeah,
I knew
no,
you would think that was cute.
I love spiders. I love bats. They're like my favorite animals beside like horses and lions. So right, they're so random. But yeah, like I found that out and I was just like, that's freaking genius.
That's a cool little tidbit there.
Oh yeah, like his philosophy and the way he used to get his shots is just like, it's not the insanity of Stanley Kubrick, like, but it's to the point where he made it realistic for the actors so that way the response was realistic.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I've always admired about him, not only writing wise but also filmmaking wise. Like, it's super great. And so I try to incorporate that into my own scenes, and him and like Wes Anderson, definitely style wise and like Art Deco kind of. And so there's a lot of influences that I have. Sofia Coppola is one of them too. But these filmmakers are like what influence my style, and definitely there's a lot of influence that I've gone out of them, but there's a lot of people that just copy, and I don't respect that because it's like, just be your own person, like be your own filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like make your own name. Don't just be like the next, Michael Bay or like the next, freaking
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I'm like having a brain fart right now, but like, yeah,
it's all good.
Just be yourself and just make a name for your own and make your own ego. You know what I mean?
You know who really inspired me lately to be like, cause like, there's so much that influence that I want to be to others to say be yourself, but the one person that recently inspired me through somebody else of his acting, it was Rami Malek. playing Freddie Mercury.
Dude.
So like
yes.
I caught Bohemian Rhapsody after the Oscars, which is a little late, but I really loved that movie in the sense that like Freddie Mercury stole the show with Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Because it made me like really pay attention to like, you know, obviously more of the lyrics, but also that guy just went ham. Like he was just like, I want to be me. I'm going to do things my way.
Yep.
You know, like, and I appreciated that so much. And like at the end of the day, like when you've seen the movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's so good.
So when he breaks it to the band that he has AIDS, like, and it's like
Dude,
yeah,
that
like
hurts so much.
It did. It hurt. Like, you know, it's just like, oh my gosh, like damn, like that's a big hit right there.
Yeah.
But what he says after that is like, look, I just want to play music. I want to make music. I want to focus on music for the rest of this time that I have, and let's just do it. And he's like, it's all the music. It's his passion is still there, you know. So like, if there's anyone that has inspired me to be like myself, or like if you want to look at to go say like, hey, be yourself.
Yeah.
That's one person to definitely do it right there.
Oh no, definitely. Freddie Mercury was his own person.
Yeah.
He was his own being, and the fact that he was not very ashamed of who he was. And I think this is my favorite line, and I hope he really did say that in real life, is like, there's a scene in Bohemian Rhapsody where like the bandmates, like it's in the semi-beginning, but like it's when the bandmates are all yelling at each other in the studio, and he's just like, hey, there's only one queen allowed in this band. And I was just like, yes, I love that, because it's like, I know, you know, like it's really great to see characters like that, especially like LGBT characters that are embraced like that and seen as a human, rather than like, oh, look it, they're gay or they're bi or blah blah blah. Like that's what they are. It's just like, no, this guy is a regular human being.
Exactly.
Like, we're all human beings. We are all our own person. Like, so what if he likes, you know, like hot dogs or tacos or both? I don't know. Whatever.
Exactly.
You know, like. It's you're seeing him as a person rather than his sexuality, and I think that's something very that I know I liked about it, and I identify with it. So definitely, like, he did a really great job in that and capturing that pain and the, you know, like even his addiction and like everything that he was going through. Like, it's just so great. And I know a lot of people have a lot of biased opinions about that movie, but I just, on a standpoint of a filmmaker, I understand the consequences that like they had to like minimalize, as far as like, okay, we need to make, you know, maybe the studio said we don't want it too gay, but we don't want it too this, you know. So I think it was a well told story, and I think they did a really great job, and he definitely deserved that best actor Oscar.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And like I said, I watched it late, and like I picked him as like taking it, and I'm like, all right, I'm glad I got that one right.
You're like, yes,
yes, because I do like my Oscar picks and all that. I get all into it. Like, I know like everyone's like all like really like upset about the Oscars, and like, you know, like what are we even celebrating? You know, like when it comes to that, like I'm glad that there is a place for films to be acknowledged. Yeah, and you know, like, not every film is going to be acknowledged. Like, obviously, I was a little upset that Won't You Be My Neighbor was not even on the nominations list of Oscars, because that, obviously, when I first saw Won't You Be My Neighbor for last year's documentaries, I was sold. I said it on my podcast, Roxy. I said it. I was like, this will win Best Documentary of the Year. And there was so much madness online, just people getting so upset that it's not even nominated.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous. I mean, congratulations to Free Solo, because like, I get it, like some rock climber who's going out like climbing these amazing rocks and like mountains. Yeah. The camera work in that film was phenomenal. Like, the cinematographer, just like, how do you keep up with this rock climber? What are you sticking to? You know, like,
freaking talent.
Yeah.
Like, it's intense. Filmmaking is intense, and I think that's not, a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a physical job.
Yeah.
Like,
it's tedious.
It's tedious. Yeah. Like, it's freaking hard, and it's not easy. We don't just get a camera and just like, you know, like record.
Exactly.
You know? Like there's some of us like in Free Solo, like that had to fucking climb rocks with a camera on our back or something. Yeah. Like, or be hanging like on a little thread, like holding a camera as this person is climbing. Like, it's intense. It's a physical job, and I think a lot of it's very unappreciated, and people don't really realize that. So that's why, like, it's funny when people are like, "Oh, you do film? That must be fun." It's like, yeah, it is fun. It's great, but it's definitely not a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So
and there are like a lot of like workers out there who have just sucked up like the hardest of work, you know. And eventually, like, and like I was thinking about it, like, for my podcast that I have where I talk about films on the Big Picture podcast.
yeah,
Eventually, like, maybe at the end of the month, I'm gonna try my best to like taking like a shout outs or like acknowledgement to, like, you know, PA people,
yeah,
you know, some crew members, you know, like, I'm gonna try my best to see if I can do that, because like I believe like in paying due diligence to everybody else, you know.
yeah. No, I think that's a great idea. I mean, especially as a PA, like I do PA work, so it's just like, you know, there's a lot of stuff I have to do. Like, I mean, the other day, it was awesome. I got picked up for being a PA, an office PA for Comedy Central, and we needed to pack up a whole entire cube truck of grip equipment from the garage all the way up to the main street.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like literally like maybe 3 floors.
Damn.
Like up and down. Like,
That's quite a workout.
Yeah, it's a fucking workout. And it was just me. Oh, by the way, if you can't see me, I'm 5'1", and I'm a little petite, but I'm built. But you know, like, I'm with this tall guy, like metal dude. He's super cool. His name was Justin, but it was just me and him, just grabbing a bunch of like lights and C-stands and, you know, light stands, like RE equipment, RE lights, and up and down constantly in the cargo elevator, just packing all the stuff in the cube truck. And so it's just me and him, and it was awesome because the head of the grip department went and kind of helped us to make sure that we had everything for the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm the office BA for Comedy Central for 3-Pete." And he's just like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "And they let you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Wow, they're progressing finally."
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, usually what I've noticed is that like Viacom only hires women to do office PAing, but they don't let them do anything physical, and they don't let them be like PAs on set. It's usually just like men.
Well, guess what? Not today. Not today. Not today. You gonna learn today that it's for everybody. What's good?
Exactly. And I was just like, and he's just like, but it's really nice to see like you like carrying the stuff, like, and it's heavy stuff. Like a normal girl probably wouldn't. Yeah. It's like, you know, these stands are maybe like 30 pounds, 40 pounds, and I have to lift it up a truck and like hold it and then strap it on there. So it's a lot of stuff. And he's like, it's really nice to see a girl being a grip and, you know, being active like that.
And that's eventually going to change people. I'll let you know that right now. Yeah. Questioning that in general will not be a question later on. I can tell you that. I
think that, and
we're progressing. We're getting there. The film industry is kind of, you know, moving into the female plane.
Yes, and I'm super happy about that. Because of the fact of like, I mean, there's a lot of us that have that, what I call the Mulan complex, which is like, you know, we can hang with the men. We can carry heavy things. We can, you know, be camera operators. We can be grips. We can be gaffers and directors, writers, all this stuff. Yeah, you know, and it's so cool to be able to communicate with and meet women showrunners, like for Vita and for One Day at a Time. Just representing not only the Latino community, but like showing off that women can do it and being an all-female cast. And I've been a part of a lot of sets that are the top heads are women or women from minority groups too. And a majority of the sets would be women, and it's super cool because it's like, you know, we kind of just vibe off of each other, and we don't have any limitations or be like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just like, yeah, dude, like that's why I hire you, because I know you can do it, you know. And it's so it's nice to like to kind of be even like a little tiny speck in the realization that women can do it. Because so far, you know, I'm very glad to be blessed with friends that have gotten me gigs in film and television, and I've impressed them to the point where they talk to me afterwards and they're like, hey, you know, like, it's nice to see a girl do a man's job finally.
I dig it.
Yeah. So it's cool. I like it.
Heck yeah. What would you say is your favorite, role within a film and producing?
I love being a director. I love it. But I think it's because of the fact that I love getting a story and then coming up with a creative aspect of how to tell it. You know, like, and I'm involved the whole entire way because I'm a little bit of a control freak.
That's not a bad thing though, because I've seen you direct, and honestly, like, not everyone can direct. Not everyone can, keep the flow of the room or the set. Not everyone can be like interconnected with the actors, the crew, the PA.
Yeah.
It's really tough. But I think you managed to knock it down because you're friends with everybody. You're cool with everybody, so you're automatically jumping in there. People are like, all right, what do you need? What do you need? Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, thank you. And for me, it's just like, I believe, like, if you're going to be a director, like, you have to be equal and have everybody on the same page. So it's like, when I do productions, I'm like, okay, I need a crew meeting so that way I can talk to each vision and we can talk about what's going to happen. And then everybody else can know what's going on at that same time. So in case of anything, or if they need help, you guys can help each other out. And I like things going smooth, and I hire people that I trust because I know their capability of being professional and their talents. So, like, I 100% have faith in everybody on my set, and I am very, very blessed to have so many friends like you and a lot of other people that I'm friends with that are super talented at what they do. And it's great to see because, like, I've worked with some people, that are very unprofessional, and I had to pick up the pieces from it, and it sucks because I would get in trouble for it. And it's just like, you know what, like, if you don't want to own up to your mistakes, fine. I'm doing what I'm doing. If you hate me for it, fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna deal with your shit, So, but definitely as a director, it's like, for me, it's like, we're a team. We're one. If you're messing up, it's because I didn't prepare you for that. Or if something goes wrong, it's on me. I take full responsibility because I'm the head of this whole entire production. So it's on me. And I take full ownership and honor on that. And so I just love creating an environment and a new kind of storytelling within the spectrum of that moment, and then just communicating with my team and just working with them, even if it's for like 2 hours or like maybe like 12 hours, like, it's just being together and being one. And like, that for me is like the best job ever. So I love directing. I love screenwriting. Writing has always been a passion of mine since I was like 7. So it's really great. But I'm also really good at camera operating, so it's great.
And it's good to be, that Swiss Army knife of a tool that you can do all of it, because, like, you have Flapper Girl Entertainment. Like, it's easy to be that, like, all right, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. Where else can I fill in the holes? All right, I need this person, and then get your little team together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because my dad, I thank my dad for that, because my dad has always kind of raised me and my sisters in a perspective of, if you want to be something, you have to be number one at it. And so you can be different than everybody else. But at the same time, in order to be number one, you need to understand each and every aspect of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So you know, so for me, it's like, yeah, I want to be a director and I want to be a screenwriter. But I also, before being a film major, I was a music engineer major. So I know about radio. I know about Pro Tools and Logic, and I used to make my own beats once upon a time. And like, you know, like, and, you know, I'm really good at audio editing. And, but at the same time, like, I started off as a boom operator too. And I work as a grip sometimes, and I understand lights and stuff like that. So I learn about lights because of gaffers that have welcomed me under their wings and stuff. And then doing camera operating, which is the first thing that I started doing after boom. And, you know, having camera knowledge, like, I love cameras. They're the most beautiful things in the world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like, just getting every aspect. And then, you know, I never think I'm too good for anything because, like, I have a lot to learn, you know. And as long as you're humble, like, you get a lot of work. Because if you're humble and you're not afraid to be like, hey, like, I'll be your PA, like, I don't give a shit if I have a degree, like, in directing or I have an Oscar. Like, if you want me to get you coffee, I'll get you coffee. I don't care. Like, you know, like, it's just being able to be a team player. That's all that matters, you know?
That's what a lot of PA's energies need to be, you know?
Yeah.
To have that mentality, because if you don't go in with that mentality, you're going to be like this.
Exactly. You're just like...
Slumped.
You're just like, I'm too good for this. And it's just like, dude, no. Like, you have to start from the bottom and get your way up. How do you think that?
I always think of it as like, yeah, like, if I want to be the best director ever, like, you have to go, like you said, like your pops was saying, you know, you got to go and attack each and little, like, thing you can before you get to, like, the main event.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot of people out there that have, like, cocky little attitudes. And then you're just like, you have to be like, yo, I know what you're doing. Yeah. Like, don't think I'm stupid. Like, I know what you're doing. So, like, you need to do this and this because at the end of the day, I'm Jefa. So, like, you know, I'm Jefa, I'm Jefe, you know, like, and at that term, you kind of, well, in my experience, I've gained their respect, or I've scared them to the point where they respect me. So, but it's always great. Yeah. It's really fun.
All right. So, transitioning now. All right, so
what up?
I've seen the side of you where, you know, you're all video production, you know, production, film, you know, radio, everything.
My life, yeah.
But now I've kind of been, like, hovering over your Instagram, and I've seen this transition of what you've been up to lately.
Yes.
And can you just basically let me know what it is that you're doing to clarify a little bit more? Because, like, I only see from the outside, from the screen, you know? So just give me a little bit of what you're up to right now.
Okay, so beside being, like, a filmmaker or being in the film industry, I recently, about maybe, like, I think it's been 4 months or 3 months, I don't remember. I stopped counting. But
who needs the anniversary date?
I don't need it. No, I'm horrible with the anniversaries anyways. Like,
yeah, me too.
Thank God for Facebook, because that's the only time I know people.
Oh, it's someone's birthday.
So, but yeah, like, the past 3 to 4 months, I've been doing drag as a drag king. My stage name is Johnny Gentleman, and my persona is the Brooklyn gentleman that lives in Cali. So
how did you come up with the Brooklyn from Cali?
Yeah.
Well, can you explain a little bit of that? Like,
okay, so my parents are from New York, and so growing up, I was raised very New York, so very steady, fast, very sassy. You know, like, of course, you know, sailor's mouth. A little bit.
Bleep. I didn't have the bleep ready though.
Right? There's gonna be so many bleeps in this.
No, this is a free bleeping podcast here.
Yes. Okay. Cool. To all the kids that are watching this, don't say bad words.
Bleep.
Bleep it.
Bleep it out.
Bleep it out. I'm an ant. Don't do it. But yeah. So for me, like, my personality is very New York. Like, I've been mistaken on set for being a New Yorker. And I take a very big pride because New York is a very big part of my life. My family's from there. My parents were met there. My mom was raised there since she was 7 when she came over from Guatemala. So it's a big part of my family and my life. And so I'm very proud of New York, and I've always have it as like my second home, you know. And eventually, like one of my like goals in life is to become an SNL writer, so that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty unique way to like come up with like the little slogan to your name, you know?
Yeah. So that's where I got it from, was because like, you know, growing up I was always like mixed up as like a New Yorker kid, and I take pride in that because it's a really big honor for me. But you know, unfortunately, like not unfortunately, because then I'm gonna seem like an asshole. But like, I mean, I'm from here. I'm from LA.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in Montclair. Live in Montclair now. But you know, but for me, you know, that was my slogan. And Johnny, the name I got from Johnny is actually I named him after my older brother that my mom miscarried before me. So so I've always felt like I had like kind of a two-spirit kind of vibe to me, where I've always felt very masculine, but I've always felt very feminine. So I kind of feel like I have two different personalities. So I've always named that other personality Johnny in that aspect. And, you know, Johnny Gentleman is my personification of who I am as a person and as a woman. But as a woman, being a gentleman or a gentlewoman, what I call it, and having manners and being respectful, it comes off as weird, you know, for a girl to do that, especially like me being a cisgender gay woman. You know, it's very weird upon it. So it's kind of my own way of protesting the normality of how a woman should be, but at the same time how men in today's society should be too. Because there aren't any gentlemen. There's not a lot. I mean, you're a gentleman.
Yeah.
But like,
there's no toxic masculinity coming out of this person.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're fine. You're a keeper right there. But like, you know, there's
ladies, crickets,
ladies,
crickets everywhere.
But you know, I know a lot of men that are assholes, and I've, you know, before I came out as gay, like I dated a lot of assholes, and you know, there's no gentleman anymore. It's just like, hey, show me your boobies or show me your tits, and you know, music doesn't help either, you know, and so Johnny Gentleman is a kind of form of me personifying who I really am as a woman, but in the form of my masculine side, and to also show that there are gentlemen out there that people don't recognize, and that we're here to provide you with class and love and stuff like that. So that's where I got Johnny Gentleman out of it. And he's a New York hipster, just like myself. And he's funny, he's charming, he's very respectful. He's a gentleman. So yeah, I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 months. It's been great. I've been welcomed with open arms at 340 Nightclub in Pomona.
There you go.
Been performing there for the
performed
past
Friday, right?
Yeah, I just performed on Friday. That was fun. I ended up doing She Wants Revenge's Tear You Apart song. And then I incorporated James March from American Horror Story in it. So I dressed up as him and brought in knives and you know, with blood, and I even did like a prosthetic of my neck being slit open with like and stuff. But you know, people don't appreciate it.
Sounds like
I did it.
Sounds like like quite the performance.
Yeah, I mean,
wait, what do you mean no one appreciated it?
No one appreciated it. Like I opened up my neck and there was like the gooiness, and like I literally made a prosthetic on my chest of like, you know, the pentagram or whatever, and it was like ripped. Like it looked like someone branded it on me, right? So like it was my first prosthetic, but it looked pretty legit for my first one. Do people who, you know, do drag performances, do they normally like, you know, like have any type of thing that like glitter or like, have they ever gone excessive like that? No, yeah, some of them have.
Okay.
Yeah, some of them have. A lot of them have. As far as like drag queens, I know they have, like, especially if you watch like RuPaul's Drag Race, like they're there. And there's a lot of women out there that do like prosthetics and stuff like that, but I was
gonna say, don't think of it as no one appreciated it. Do it because you wanted to do it.
I did want to do it because I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go full hearted.
Yeah, you're gonna find the little eccentricities that make you happy and to add on to your show.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is like you have to appreciate those, and there will eventually be some people that notice it. And now that you're talking about it on this podcast, someone's gonna be listening like, I was at that show. You know, I did see a little bit of blood.
Yeah, right. It was pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, do people eat like? Were there, or is it just drinks?
No. Like, people were there and they were watching, sitting down.
But is it like a place where, like, you know, they have just drinks, or is there food?
There's food. I think they have like food. It's not like Hamburger Mary's where it's like a restaurant. It's like an actual nightclub.
Okay.
But like,
because what if you caught somebody with, you know, French fries and a bunch of ketchup on there?
No. Like, no. The bottom floor is like, it was just seats, and then it's just a stage. So like, if you want food, that's like for VIP shit.
Got it.
You know, like, but definitely everybody was just sitting there. But you know, I came out as James March. I did a little goatee. I looked a little bit more like Gomez than James March, but I think it's because I'm brown. So like, it came out more Gomez, like from Addams Family. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was really great. I got really sexy with it. Made it kind of BDSM style, you know, brought some rope in, choked myself, brought a knife with blood and just like slit my own throat with it.
Wow.
Brought a whip from home that I had, and just like, whatcha?
This does no justice for the podcast. So listeners, if you want to catch Roxy on the stage or at her performance, you can definitely check her out. But we'll give you more information before we close out the show. But we still got some time to go. So before I ask you about, you know, what made you want to start drag, I want to get rewinded back to, you know, something you said earlier. I want to ask you about like you coming out.
Yeah.
And like also like how like Giggly kind of, you know, like, because you mentioned Giggly, kind of you talking to him about that and how just shed some light on that. I'm curious.
Yeah. So, we're gonna get deep right now. All right. So, yeah. So, I mean, I identified for, let's see, for 5 years, I identified as bisexual. You know, weirdly, I ended up realizing that I was attracted to women while I was in a relationship with a man, and so afterwards, I kind of explored it and realized like I like being with women, but at the same time, I was just like I kind of like being with men too. And then as time went by, I had boyfriends, but I kind of never really felt a connection with that. Like, I've kind of felt like that boyfriend that was just like, my babe is like complaining, like my babe is like complaining. She's like,
what do I do?
Oh my god, she says I'm not spending time with her, like whatever. Like, but it was like in guy version, like, my boyfriend, he's bitching that I don't spend time with him when I spend like 5 days out of the week with him. Like, oh my god. And so like it just like, yeah, it was just kind of like I was just never really connected with men, and I kind of felt like that douchebag dude. And it wasn't until I ended up falling in love, with a wrong person, but in a way, I'm very glad I fell in love with her. But I ended up falling in love with somebody that I was hooking up with, and it was the first time I ever felt like myself, and like I felt natural. It felt natural to me, and I was never a clingy person until like I met her, and so afterwards, like we broke. She left me for her ex, and then she went off to San Diego or whatever fucking shit. And now she's married with a kid. But
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
it's quite the turn.
That's interesting.
Things happen for a reason, Roxy.
I know. I mean, now that I think about it, I was fucking stupid, but like, you know, I'm very glad that I had that experience, because it kind of made me realize like it was the first time I ever fell in love, like actually fell in love.
Yeah.
And so afterwards, I was kind of confused, and
so you think?
Yeah.
So you think that was the first time you fell into deep love?
Yeah, like. I was like, it was natural. Like, I thought about her every day and shit. So it was the first time that ever happened.
Yeah.
Like I never even had that with my boyfriends, and like I never like missed them or anything like that. Like I felt like whatever. But
So was it this relationship that you realized like, okay, I'm gay?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It was. Afterwards, when she left me, like I was heartbroken, like completely. I was shattered. Like I became an alcoholic.
The first love is always the main heartbreak.
Yeah, and like I became an alcoholic. I thought of self-harm because I have, chronic depression and anxiety, so it doesn't help. And I just felt worthless. And so it got to a point where like I even got back with the next and slept with him, and the whole entire time I was not in it. And I cried afterwards, and
a little damaging.
Yeah, and the only way I could get through it was imagining like my hot women friends. Like as horrible as that sounds.
Yeah.
I was just like, I mean,
you might as well just think of the hot ones,
right? Just like, okay, how can I get through this? But yeah, afterwards I was like, I don't feel anything for men anymore. Like there's nothing there. Like. For me, like, as this might be a little bit more like too much TMI, but it's just like, my girl down there don't work like for men, you know, it's like, I got to figure this out. Like, and it's hard. It was hard for me because, I think I've always realized that I was gay since I was a little kid. And now that I look back in my life, I was like, how the fuck didn't I not know I was gay? Like I was super gay.
Okay.
But I think it's because I was raised in a household. My parents are from third world countries. Like my dad's from Nicaragua, my mom's from Guatemala. My mom came when she was 7. My dad came when he was 18 after the revolution in Nicaragua happened. He was a part of the revolution. And so I grew up in a household where my mom was a sergeant in the military, specialized in artillery. And my dad was a soldier too, and so I grew up in a military household, and where my family was super Catholic, and for me it was like I felt like if I was gay in any certain way, like it was going to be a disappointment to my family and to my mom especially, like and to my religion, and I felt nasty about it, so I always kind of rejected it. But it wasn't until this happened that I was like, I might actually be gay, and I'm terrified. So I ended up going to the LGBT center in LA. They have really cool like social groups that you can communicate with other people in the industry, in the like community. And I spoke out with them, and I was like, hey, I think I'm gay. Like, and I got a lot of support from Biosphere for bisexuals. So if any bisexuals are out there and you guys want some help, check out the LGBT center in LA. They're very helpful.
That's really cool. Like,
yeah,
honestly, like I think that's what it is, that like if you are thinking like, oh, am I gay at a young age, like I think like the world doesn't give like kids or people a chance, to grow.
Yeah.
And in order, and I'm glad that there are like places like this so that people can communicate and get across like the way that people are feeling, and they're just not understanding of it, like it just takes a little bit of understanding and a little bit of, more knowledge about feelings and just the way the direction you're going,
Yeah. And especially me, like I was raised in the Inland Empire. My family, everybody I grew up with, like, they're straight. So it's just like, I don't know many gay people around here. And so for me, it was just like, these are social groups that I can talk to people in the community that have gone through this or are going through this. And like, we can kind of vibe out of each other. And I just needed some guidance and advice. So I went to a meeting, and I met with some people, and we talked afterwards. We went to Mel's Diner and talked afterwards. And
Mel's Diner.
Yeah, Mel's Diner, dude.
Nice.
And we just talked. We talked about they talked about their experiences and what they realized, and how like gave me some advice. And after a while, like I started realizing, like, yeah, I am gay, and I need to embrace it. And I'm very thankful for my friend Zia too, because she was one of the first people that I kind of came out with. And she kind of helped me say it like out loud. We went to the movies, and
Harkins.
Yeah, Harkins.
I just took a guess on that.
No, that was for real. We went to Harkins.
I just assumed because she lives like right there.
Yeah, no, like we went to Harkins, and like and we watched a movie. I forgot what movie it was, but I was talking to her deep afterwards, and I was just like, I think I came to the realization of who I am. And she's just like, okay. And I was just like, I think I might be, And she's like, say it. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, I just can't came out. And she's like, Roxy, you need to say it. Like, you need to say it out loud or else it's not going to happen. And like, she made me scream it out. And
in the theater, like you guys
no,
were
no. We were outside in the parking lot in the freaking cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was the parking lot, and she's just like, you need to say it. Like, you need to yell it out. Like, if you don't, like, it's not gonna go into your head finally. So, so I screamed in the middle of the parking lot and said, I'm gay. And it felt really nice. I cried. She hugged me, and we got all, sisterhood of the traveling pants shit. And
that's how you guys are. You guys are pretty close, huh?
Yeah, we're really close. I mean, I've been a horrible friend lately, but
it's the distance. Isn't she like living somewhere else?
Yeah, she lives in San Jose now, so it really sucks. But we're trying to make it work, and we try to communicate as much as possible. But I'm very blessed to have her in my life, and she's one of the people that helped me through this journey. So we've known each other for about 3 years, and she was one of the first people I came out to, and so after coming out to all my friends, I made it a birthday present to myself for my 26th birthday to come out to my family.
There you go.
And I'm horrible. Like, okay, so I'm good with entertaining and words and talking, but when it comes to my emotions, I suck at it. So I was like, I want to come out in a way that is very me, but at the same time, it kind of verifies, like, I kind of want it to be a surprise to my family. So my goal was to make a documentary episode about myself, and about me being a filmmaker. And that's when I asked Brad Geekley to, do an interview about me and me as a student and stuff like that. And so that way it seemed like it was about me, and then at the end it was going to be me coming out to my family as a gay woman. And unfortunately, my friend who was helping me out, he was busy editing like weddings and stuff, so we couldn't get an actual final edit of it. But,
no way.
We're going to try to remake it again and make it happen. But on my 26th birthday, after cake and blowing out candles and shit, I came out to my family, and it was intense because my mom didn't have anything to say, and she was like, kind of like, I was like, Mom, can you say something? Because like, seriously, I can't. And then so like, she's like, you're my daughter ever since. And I mean, it took her a while to get used to it, but she's good with it now, and my family embraces it a lot and are very supportive. So it's really great. They don't know about the drag though. I think my mom thinks I'm a stripper.
they don't know what you've been doing?
No, because like, okay, this is the thing is like, and this is, I want this to be publicized because of the fact of like, this is very important.
You heard it here first, people.
Yeah, heard it first. I mean, I've only been doing drag for 3 to 4 months, but people personify drag kings as like not really that important. And they just kind of think of it as like women trying to be men, or that want to be men. So they like, I've told people like, hey, I'm a drag king, and they're just like, oh, so you're transitioning. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, it's drag kings. Not all drag kings are transitioning. They're not.
You mean to transition the full gender?
Man. Yeah, gender. Okay. Like, we have this personification or like stereotype that drag kings are all transgender. And we're not. Like, some of us are, and it's really, really great. I actually got hit up like a couple days ago from my friend from Cal State LA. Her boyfriend, who is a trans man, hit me up and said, hey, like, I've seen you doing your drag, and I've been wanting to do drag. How can I start? And it's funny because I've only done this for 3 to 4 months, and to have like people coming up to me and be like, hey, I want to do drag, can you give me some tips or whatever? And it's really cool, and it makes me feel important that I'm putting a voice out there, because there's other people that are professionals like Landon Sider and Havoc Von Doom, Phantom King, and other drag kings out there, but they're not really recognized for their greatness, and it really, really sucks in the drag community. But I mean, not all of us are. A lot of us are proud women that just love to perform as men, and it's rather like in my case, it's like it's a protest of gender roles. Like that's my version of gender role, like defining gender roles. And for other people, it's just like it's their alter ego. They just want to entertain. You know, it's a mockery. That's what it originally was. It's a mockery of gender, and so definitely. I think that's why I've been so fearful about coming out as a drag king to my family, because they already think like, oh my gosh, with her short hair, like, you know, like she's gonna come out as, you know, trans, or she wants to be a man. I don't want to be a man. I don't want to be a man. Okay, I have to stuff a sock down my pants every time I perform, and it sucks ass. I hate it, and I have to strap like my girl's back so I can have a flat chest. And I do it for the art, but like, fuck, if I had to do that every day, I would not.
Yeah.
Like, I love being feminine when I want to. I love shopping. I love getting my nails done like every other girl. It's just that I'm very androgynous. Like, I like redefining my own gender, and that's how it is. And that's how a lot of us are. So.
And you know what? I think if you continue to just like tell your story.
Yeah.
And tell people the way you do things, the way that Roxy does things. You know, if they understand it, then they understand it, and that's great. You know, if there's people that don't understand it, there's no need to just mess with those people, honestly, because what you're doing here is you're creating this persona, this showing people this other side of you, know, this other persona that you have created, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that you enjoy doing, and you enjoy doing the performances.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And you'll have obviously like those bad critiques, you know, but those are the ones that obviously do the Tom Brady method, you know. Yeah. The bad critiques and all that stuff, use that as motivation and energy to, you know, for your next performance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because it's funny that you said that too, because like I was talking to my friend yesterday, and she had told me that that some of my old friends that haven't really like been, I guess, like she told me like, oh well, these people said that they don't go to your performances because it's not their scene, or they're not really into it. And, you know, there's some moments where they're like, oh, I'm going to come and see you and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay. And then they're like, oh, I can't make it or whatever. And it's like, you know, to find out that they're not really, they're not into it and they don't want to be honest about it, you know, to me, it's like, all right, dude, like, if you don't like, you know, if you want to be a good friend, just be honest and say, hey, this isn't my scene.
And you'd be cool with that, right?
Yeah, I don't care. Like my sisters know I do drag, but they don't talk about it because they don't like drag kings. But I mean, they respect it. They don't talk to me about it. I don't talk to them about it. Like, but I mean, they're still my family and they still love me and all that stuff. So, but you know, for me, it's like, especially this past year, it's been a year of growth for me, going through a lot of stuff. And for me, it's like, I just want healthy people in my life. And I've taken away the toxic out of my life lately. And I've felt, for the first time in my life, I feel confident and happy with my life. And I feel beautiful. And it's really, really cool. And drag has kind of helped with that, with my confidence with that, because it's like, I'm able to be myself. And I'm able to just be like, just entertain people and make them laugh. Like at the end of the day, that's what I am, is like, I'm an entertainer and I love entertaining. So it's definitely one of those things that it's like, your friends don't support you on it, but you're just like, fuck it. I'm still doing it. Yeah.
And I've seen you, you know, like promoting and all that on Instagram, and I see your happiness with this, and I want to see you continue to grow with your passion of drag, you know. Yeah. And I understand like say like not all my friends are into the same things that I'm into. Yeah. And that's okay, you know. Like sometimes we forget that, you know, we all have our own little niches that we like, but we can't really like throw that on other people. Yeah. But it's always great when, you know, you get people to support you.
Yeah, and it's cool because I've made friends on set, and we made really.
I've seen. I've been into your little live show, like you're prepping, right, and then you're just saying hi to all these people.
Yeah, so like it's really cool because I've made drag a drag family, and it's really great. But at the same time, I've gone on set. I become really great friends with my friends Sarah and Kelsey. They're special effects artists, and they're actually the ones that taught me how to do drag.
All the makeup.
Yeah, all the makeup. They taught me how to do it, and so they're like my little, like, I call them my little like makeup, like my drag fairy godmothers because like they taught me how to do contouring and like redefining your face and stuff like that, and so they've always been supportive of me. They always go on my live feeds. They always like check out, like I always tell them about my looks, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so going to be awesome!" And I'm so excited because I get to perform for the first time in LA on Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
Yeah, this Tuesday.
March 12th.
Yeah, March 12th. Hamburger Mary's in WeHo for the Work Mary competition hosted by Delta Work from RuPaul's Drag Race.
There it is.
So it's show starts at 10 p.m. if anybody wants to go in LA. Show is $5, all ages. But both of them are gonna go there, and I'm doing a really special piece that's gonna fit the city. Combine two very different songs together and just kind of make a comedy, sexy thing about it. But they're like super psyched, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm promoting it on my Facebook and blah 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 and yada yada." So it's really nice to like have friends like that that are just like, "Yeah, like oh my God, I'm so excited," and it's really cool. So. I'm very thankful for them, and I've made some really great friends this past year, and I'm so thankful for them, and and I'm just surrounded by such beautiful people, and including yourself.
Thank you.
And and to be on like stuff like this podcast, it's really cool. So
heck yeah, and I for sure this won't be the last time.
Oh no.
Yeah, because
if you want me anytime.
Honestly, I always anyone that I have on Conversations with the World, I always definitely want them on a second time.
Okay, cool.
I've come to the world of podcasting and just having conversations with people because that's what I enjoy to do.
Yeah.
And I like to just like stay in touch with people along with just finding out how their journey is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think and I totally love that and respect that because of the fact of like there's a lot of people out there that I always say there's people that you might know that you don't know where they've come from and what they've gone through, and I've learned that especially taking a documentary class at Cal State LA. I'm trying to get back onto it, but I'm working on a documentary series called Minorities in the Arts. So it's about minority people, minority people, like whether they're gay or from minority groups that are artists and how they define their art and break the stereotype. And, hearing their stories and their journeys, like it's very inspirational. And you never know if there's a person out there, like rather if it's like one viewer that watches the video and they see it and they're like, oh my God, I've gone through the same thing. Like that's the purpose of the art. That's why we do this. That's why you have this podcast. That's why, I make films. That's why we make films, It's to define normalities and to give awareness to people that, there are struggles and there's other people that have the same struggles. And
you basically said it just right.
Yeah,
right
like
there.
and that they're not alone. Because like, you get to that point where you're like, I think I'm alone. And it's just like, no, there's other people like you.
Yep.
That have the same journey or that can relate to you. And we should be welcoming to that kind of environment. So I applaud you for making this podcast for that reason, because, it's, we just need to inspire each other.
And that's well said right there. Cause normally like towards the end of the show, I usually ask, what kind of inspiration towards life could you give the listeners? And I feel like you basically just did it right there, but posing that question to you now, like, moving forward, like if someone's, in a tough situation or is, doubting whether to be gay or, straight, like in the world that there are so many damn labels in this planet, like what can you encourage someone moving forward day to day? Some words of inspiration?
Definitely, because I have been that person. I've been that person my whole life. Just for people that are going through stuff, whether it's like you're coming out as gay or if you're being bullied, being discriminated. I've been discriminated all my life by authorities, by white people, by everybody. Like there, you can name it. I've been through it, but just staying strong, and owning up to who you are, and saying it out loud with no fear, no consequence. Like, yes, you might feel alone, but there's going to be at least one person behind you being like, I got your back. And as long as you have one person that believes in you, like, you're indestructible. You, like, define. I believe that. I know I'm like mumbling, but I'm like trying to find the perfect words for this.
Even if they're cheesy, like
it's so cheesy.
You know how like the Ninja Turtles, they eat pizza, and when they get to open the box, and then Michelangelo just pulls out the pizza, and it's like really like cheesy, is dripping.
Yes.
You know, that's how cheesy I want you to get.
Okay,
right now.
we're gonna get cheesy. Okay. Definitely. You know, owning up to who you are. Don't be ashamed of it. You're made that way, and if anybody wants you to change or tell you like, oh, don't do this or don't do that, unless you're being an asshole, then yeah, you gotta change that.
You gotta change
like
the
you gotta
asshole,
you gotta change the asshole in you. But like, if someone's telling you like, hey, you're not cool enough, or hey, you're not this enough, or you know, you need to change this so you can be cool. Like, no, fuck you. Like, own up to your flaws, because that's what makes you beautiful. Like, you are perfectly imperfect, and that is what makes you so beautiful. And there are people that are going to believe in you, whether you know them or not, that, you know, are going to say, hey, I got your back, like, no matter what. And if anybody wants to put you down for who you are, just know that you are being bullied for being true to yourself, rather than just kind of going by the normality of what society wants for you, you know. And redefine yourself, redefine society, be the underdog, because once you like conquer all the bullshit, like, you're the champ at the end. You know, like, that's why I think that's the reason why I make all of my characters underdogs. I've always been a fan of the underdog, because of the fact of, I like proving to people that the unexpected person that you think would, you know, be the weakling or something is actually the strongest person. And, you know, you just have to redefine yourself. If someone says that you're not good enough, let them prove that you're better. Yeah. You know, like, if someone says you can't do it, make it freaking happen and shut their mouth. Yeah. Like, just have that drive, have that passion, have that, like, you know, strength to be like, I'm going to define my own self. I'm going to be my own person, and I'm not going to let others define me, because I know who I am. That's it. Done and easy.
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
Amazing.
And if no one likes it, then they can go suck a dick. So
there it is.
There you go. Go suck a dick if you don't like it.
Thank you, Roxy. Oh my gosh.
No, thank you for having me.
This
was fun.
This one's been a good one, and for, like I said, this won't be the last time that you're on the podcast.
Yay! I'm excited. I can't wait for the next time.
I can't wait either.
I know.
And just like every other podcast, I leave everybody with this quote: make sure you starve the ego and feed the soul.
Ooh, that's deep.
Thank you, Roxy, for playing on.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.